Hey there, my name is David Kolar. I am guitar player and composer from Slovakia, and I had the privilege to work with great musicians like Pat Mastotov, King Crimson, Arve Henriksen, Eivind Arset, Erik Trufas, and many others. And today I will play a concert, very special one in Slovakia. I am right now in my hotel room in Trenčín with a very good, great musician, and we will play together, and it is Nils Petter Molvær.
Hey.
Hey Nils, I'm so happy that we are together because I remember I have sent you some messages in 2017, 2019.
Yeah.
And you were still busy, and I felt like, okay, maybe I am not prepared to play with the musician in your quality, you know. So yeah, but you know, by incident, I met Arve in Prague. I started to work with Arve Henriksen and then Erik Trufas.
Oh, they are fantastic.
It was. It's really big pleasure for me to be with you today and play together. And yesterday we had a couple of beers, and you told me very funny and beautiful story about your first concert. And it is really powerful when someone really want to play a gig. Can you tell me, you know, that
Well, yeah, it was. I was still a teenager, and this kind of legendary drummer called Ole Jakob Hansen, and I think Carl Morten Iversen on bass. He's unfortunately dead now. And also Ole Jakob is, and Per Husby is a piano player, and he called me and asked if I wanted to play at a club called Jazz Alive. Mm-hmm. And in a way, it was the first time I was in other bands like the Jazz Punk Ensemble with a lot of very good musicians and all this, but I haven't been asked by Oslo musicians to come and play like that. So I was okay, yeah, I really want to do it. And it was on a Sunday. And I was on the island I come from, Sula. And a bit too late I understood that there is no buses going, there is no boat going over to... So I can take the bus from Ålesund to the airport, so I can get to Oslo. And I thought, Jesus, what shall I do? And so I ended up... kind of loaning a rowing boat, and I was rowing over the fjord
for 1 hour and a half, you said.
Yeah, approximately, and it's maybe even more. But the waves are coming straight in from the North Sea and the ocean, and there's always wind there, and you have that on the side. So it was kind of, and I just row and I made it. So I catch the bus and I go to the airport and I take the flight to Oslo, and then I come to the soundcheck. But I had these blood blisters inside my hands. And for me it was more like just, yeah, okay, so I have to try to be creative to make this happen.
Yeah.
And I remember the drummer, he was looking at me and says, "What happened to you?" So, well, and then I told him the story, and he didn't believe, and he started to laugh. He was like, so yeah. So that was one story, yeah. There.
Yeah, it's beautiful because sometimes people think that all those big names, you know, they are from rich families. They were in good schools. They have contacts. But I think on 90% it is not like this.
No.
You know.
I come from a family. My father's a musician. My uncle is a musician. My grandfather was an organ player in the church and a conductor of a choir and all these things. So I kind of come from a sort of a music family, but not rich, I tell you that. So we had to move around a bit when I was a kid to where my father could get work, because at that time he couldn't live as a musician. Mm-hmm. So he was typograph, you know typograph?
Yeah.
doesn't exist anymore.
Like my uncle.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this job doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Everything
it's,
is digital now. So anyway, so we moved around a bit, and yeah, so it was a childhood in motion, moving around from there to there, and then back and there, and so it was a lot of these things. But yeah, that's how it was.
For me, you Norwegians, now you are on the highest level of to be uniqueness. You know how to be unique in music, or I mean, when I heard Arve Henriksen, I was like, what the hell is this? This is not like American jazz. This is something different. When for the first time when I saw Eivind Arset, it was like heaven for me that there is a guitar player and he doesn't need to play themes, solos, in chord progressions. You know, for me it was some kind of moody, filmy stuff, and I still think, you know, also when I was in Kristiansand in November, you played there with your band Khmer album. It was really amazing concert, very powerful one. 2 drummers. I loved many drummers, like in King Crimson. In last tour, they had 3 drummers. Yeah, and they were in the front. You know, band was back and they were in the front. And also the concept of this Punkt Festival, that I and Arve, we had 10 or 15 minutes to listen to the band before us, and then we went down and we had to prepare some samples from this music, which was already playing in the next concert room. And after the concert, people had like 10 minutes to move to this smaller room where I was on the stage with Arve, and we did live remix of it's really something. I mean, it is another level of creativity. You are, you know, somebody throw you to the big water and you have to swim. You know, you have to be skilled. You have to listen to others. And I mean, how it started? Because I wanted to ask you, who were your biggest musical heroes when you were starting out? And I want to say one thing. There is an interview with Eivind Arset on YouTube somewhere, I think, and he said that Terje Ripdal was very successful in abroad, and he didn't play like Americans. And Eivind told me that this was for him something like we can be ourselves, we can follow our own, or we can create our own music style or new jazz culture. We can sound like ourselves, not like Americans. What do you think about it?
Well, yeah, I think that is very well said, Eivind. Eivind also, I think I played once long time ago. I played a album to him called Hybrid with Michael Brooks, which I also think was like. So it has to do with I mean, you are not American. I am not American. Even though I grew up and I played all these standard things and all that, but that wasn't me. And also I think I am not very how shall I say, conservative. I'm not like jazz or bebop or blah blah blah. I'm more like let all the flowers bloom kind of attitude, and for me improvisation is something that probably has been around for 10,000 of years, long before America was even occupied by the Europeans.
Yeah, you are right.
So in that sense, I mean, improvisation is about interacting, and you don't have to play old musical songs from the 30s to improvise. I mean, that is something completely different. And so for me, it's about interacting And I don't even want to call it jazz. I mean, people call it jazz because they need to have something to put it on. But it has a lot of other, let's say Arveden. I mean, he plays. He sounds like a shakuhachi flute, you know.
Yeah.
And I think Eric comes a little bit from also this jazz thing, but he has created his own thing. So it's about who you are, and that it needs to reflect who you are when you play. So for instance, this to impress and technically, like, oh, that's fantastic, oh, that's really fast, and that is, all this thing doesn't interest me at all. I think the most important thing is to be yourself and to create something nice with the other musicians, and it's better to be moved either physically or emotionally.
Yeah.
Than intellectual, like, oh, that was interesting. Yeah. You know, I'm not there.
In your music, it's about the energy. I mean, this is very important aspect there. That as we listened to yesterday or day before, your piece from the album, live album,
coming now, in June.
Yeah, there is this bass, boom, 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 you know.
Yeah.
You have also it on YouTube. I love it. You know, it's some kind of static groove, but with these two drummers, there are still human beings, and you play over it. And also, technology. Technology is the biggest part also of your music, because you play through some plugins. You have some instruments. As I saw yesterday, you play through guitar rig as I do, and you sound when you play 2 or 3 notes. I know it's Nils Petter Molvær. This is very, this is so unique. Also with Erik Truffas, he play one phrase, and I know this is romantic Erik Truffas. Also Arve Henriksen, you know. And for me, this technology also, when you played with Khmer project at Punkt Festival, there was Jan Bank. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was sampling you live.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes you play the phrase, and after, I don't know, 1 minute, the phrase was played again, but from Jan Bang, little bit processed through some effects, and then you played over it. So there was like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like he was mirroring yourself. He was like mirror to yourself, you know, so you could hear what phrase which you played 1 minute ago, and now the phrase is back, maybe reversed or cut or faster, and you can react to it. It is really another thing for me, that this live sampling is, I just feel that this can be like the future of the music for next years, because if musicians don't know where to go because they are full of all those styles, and you can find a guy who is like Jan Bank, and you can do really, I call it modern, unpredictable something, like modern art, you know, and there is something what you probably will or you will never hear again, or nobody in this our planet Mother Earth did something the same like you did, you know, in this moment.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I must say, Jan, I mean, he is that is what they do. He has Ivan, he has the drummers, he has me, and I don't know if you have the bass player in there, but he has everything in, so he can sample whatever he likes, you know, and then he play it back.
Yeah.
So now he has made this into an art form. He has this old, I think, Remix 16. It's like a really, really old machine that he has been doing this for.
Yeah, with diskette.
20.
Old diskette.
Yeah.
No USB, but
floppy disks.
Yeah, and he's really good at it. I mean,
yeah. No, he's been doing this for so long, and so he has created his own kind of. This is his instrument, you know. So no, Yeah, it was really fun to start to play with the. I mean, Khmer. We haven't played for maybe I don't know when we stopped. 2004, 3, 4 maybe, something like this. So we played for 5, yeah. And then I was asked to play at the Vossa Jazz, which is where it all began. I got this commission piece there. And then they had the 50-year anniversary, asked if I wanted to do it again, and I thought, yeah, that could be fun. And then I asked, and everybody was like, yeah. All the musicians, except one guitar player sadly died. There was like 2 guitar players on the first concert. And then we kind of just met and rehearsed a bit, and then it was so great fun. So we did a lot of more gigs. I mean, like we did a tour in Poland, which was very nice musically, but not so nice. I don't want to say that, but it was musically it was very nice. A lot of people came to listen, and it was super. Everything was super nice.
Who were your biggest musical heroes when you were starting out?
Okay, when I was 6 years, it was Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Then I was 6 years old.
So you started early.
Started early, yeah, and then there was a lot of albums at home, but the Heroes, and I mean the Heroes came more when I was like 10, 11, 12. I started to listen to more rock, like Purple and Black Sabbath and Zeppelin. Actually, the first album I bought with money I earned from going with newspaper in the morning.
Yeah.
I was in Molde, and then I got the first fee, and then I went to buy a Led Zeppelin album. That was the first I bought with my own money.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you have still this power in your music. I also started with metal, Iron Maiden, Deep Purple, and all those things. Today also when I do some ambient stuff, or it's still something, the animal is inside, to go a little bit there with, and you have it in your trumpet. I can say that when I was in Kristiansand and Punkt Festival, it was like, this guy is fucking powerful. With your trumpet, it's like Jeff Beck is on the stage, It was with trumpet, it really sounded to me like this with this big band.
Yeah.
And you were part of Masqualero.
Oh yeah.
A band deeply rooted in jazz.
Yes.
What led you to move beyond traditional jazz and develop your own, more experimental sound?
Well, I kind of got tired of this trumpet, the jazz trumpet, the sound and this.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. Like end of Masqualero time, I was playing with this singer, Sondre Bratland, a beautiful traditional singer. And we spoke about, and I said, I'm so tired of the trumpet sound. And I need to find a different way of approaching. And so we had, and he said, "Oh, it's fantastic! It's very pure. The trumpet's a very pure instrument." And I was kind of envy on saxophone players because they have all these arpeggio things, and they just press this, and then it's octave up and down, and this kind of. So it had much more. So I remember at the end of Masqualero, I was even playing trumpet with the saxophone mouthpiece in the 80s. Just to get this.
Yeah, Arve do the same. I was surprised. It was very deep sound.
Yeah.
But I think he didn't articulate with it. He just made this.
Yeah, that was also what I did. So, this was like in the 80s. No, but then I heard. I started to listen to singers. I mean, voices. and also music instruments from like the duduk and the ney flute and the shakuhachi flute and all this kind of that has this very human quality, like and I wanted to go there. And so I just started to, it was like something that just, it takes some time, but you kind of find a sound that you are comfortable in, and that is sort of, how should I say, sort of reflects more who you are than that you just play the trumpet, you know. So I think it's kind of difficult to explain, but it has to do with how you open up inside the mouth and okay, yeah, this more feels more comfortable to me. It feels this is how I want to sound, you know. So this is like a long process where you kind of just refine it in a way.
And when you realize that you have your own sound, it's very tricky question, because who can say, okay, I found my way and I will do only this thing, this is my way. We have to go, when we work on new music, to get out from our comfort zone, you know?
Oh yeah.
How do you, if you are planning or working on a new album, did you, your creative process is evolving? I mean, are you in last years, or do you have a specific workflow? How you start? Do you start with electronic groove or beat? You play over it, you know?
Yeah.
How it changed in last years?
Well, I don't have any specific plan on to do. It's like, I mean, with the trio, it's more and more that we do it together with the band. Yeah. With the Khmer, it was more like my songs and these things, and also a little bit with the band in the beginning. But the way we work now is more like interacting
together.
Yeah. But I'm currently actually working on a project called called Be Quiet, where I go to visit musicians from very, very many different genres, and just do one song. Like I started out with this Comanche player from Iran called Suhail Shoyaste. He lives in Amsterdam. He doesn't live in Tehran. I met him in Tehran. But Suhail, and then I did it with this lady called Miki Yui she's Japanese, just working on like field recordings and samples. Very, very nice. I played a solo concert somewhere, and she opened for me, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And so I played with her one song, or we played many. Then I played with Alba Noto. I played with John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, amazing.
Imogen Heap, Anja Lechner, Marilyn Mazur.
And how it works? Do you travel?
I just travel to them, and then I pay. And there is also they are making a movie. So there was like a film team following me also on some of it, and there's a movie which is basically about me and a photographer called Per Manning. It was in the beginning about me, but then I said, come on, it can't be that interesting, you know? And then, so I said, I think it should be like the meeting between me and you, because you also have, he's a very famous photographer and a film guy. So, and then he kind of brought in his own things. So it's about us, it's about meetings in a way. And I have one more now. I go to Bangkok to play with this guzheng player called Jing. Fantastic guzheng player. And then I do one with Death Prod and Bugge. And then I have to stop there.
And then
Also
you will
be-
mix it and
Then
release
I'm going to
album?
mix it, and I also some of the things I have to maybe go in and add some stuff, but it's mostly it
The
is
first interaction is live between.
total like that.
you
We
and
just
the-
make it
Yeah, this
play.
is very good idea, very good concept in this era of digital, recording. I am in Prešov and Rick Cox is in Los Angeles, and we are not interacting together, but we are trying to change some files. But this is really cool that you can be with these artists and interact together, because maybe this is also part of how to get out from your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because you are out, you are there with them, you are naked, let's say, there, and you. This is a real art, high art for me.
I'm always out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm in comfort zone that because someone can think that okay, I don't know, Jeff Beck, he has his own style, so this is his comfort zone now, and he will stay there forever.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked before about that sometimes we have to get out from there.
Yeah.
And if I'm talking about the digital era, what do you think about artificial intelligence? I mean, we have this ChatGPT. Do you use ChatGPT?
I have it on my phone. A friend of mine. It's good if you're gonna make application to try to get some support money, and just write in a couple of words, to describe and this, and then rush, it comes something I could never write in my whole life.
To be honest, I do the same.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do, and I think that is good because. But I mean, with the AI, it's good and bad. It's depends who's using it.
Yeah.
If you can use it for very good. I just saw now that they have tried this with the sick people, where they put in symptoms of illness, and the AI just came out with the diagnosis, much more precise than doctors.
Wow.
And so I mean, it of course it can be good, but then if the wrong people are using it, like ignorant, greedy, narcissistic,
DT?
like DT or EM,
Yeah.
or a VP. All these guys, then of course it can be used in a it can be enormously destructive also. But that is like again with human beings. I mean, we are the most destructive being on the planet.
Yes.
So it's but also nice,
Yeah.
So-
I think this is just era.
Yeah.
For a couple of years, that we have to be a little bit think about our freedom and little bit fight for it, and I think it will be good again.
Yeah.
we will do well.
I hope.
And, yeah, I feel it. How I use ChatGPT, for example, I have read not all, but last 3 books of Timothy Snyder, and the last one has a name called On Freedom.
Yeah.
And there were this is some kind of history and philosophy. So sometimes I took a picture from the page, which I wasn't sure that I understand it well. So I took the picture, I have sent it to ChatGPT. I pay this ChatGPT Plus, it's 20 euros per month. And she told me, I cannot write down this text because it is we are not author of it, it's Timothy Snyder. But I can explain to you what is written there. And then I was like, okay, don't explain to me. I have to ask you. I will give you some examples on freedom, how I think as an artist about the freedom. So I started to write something, and we had a good dialogue.
Yeah.
That, okay, I have to correct you here and there. So it's like, for me, it's like assistant. sometimes I just write there, hey, I want to write a new podcast, a blog, or I want to record podcast. And the same is with you. I just wrote there, I will be with you. And of course, you have to give her something.
Yeah.
Also, she cannot do something from scratch or it will be bullshit. So I just told her, I will be with you. These albums.
Is it a she?
I called her she. It can be he, but she's intelligent. I bet I like women, so for me she's intelligent woman. And I know some people who are really feel alone. They don't want to be outside. They are some kind of introverts, and it's really good if you have these tools so they can talk with it. They can share their feelings. But my son told me, aren't you scared that someone will have all those data?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my goodness, I can say I was lying or but someone will have it. And you can delete it because you can delete all those chats there with ChatGPT or folders. But
I'm sure it is
still there on the hard drive under the ocean somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
But, also, I feel I can learn much more, much faster. I can understand things better. While I was driving here from Prešov to Trenčín in Slovakia, I told her, hey, you know what? I scored 2 biggest movies in Slovakia since, 2000 year. And I am still broken. And I have to think, how will I pay my bills? I have a son who's a student on a university of management, and he needs to eat in the morning, before lunch, dinner. He needs to hang out with friends, and I have a real problem to pay for all of it. I am on intermittent fasting, so I don't eat since 8 p.m. until noon next day. So I skip breakfast so I can save some money. And she said, what if you will teach or make some workshops about how young musicians can fight with the stage fright as you did in the past, because you wrote blog about that. You wrote blog about freedom. Oh. So maybe you can make a course.
She found out.
Yeah. And I said, you know what, but how can I start? And she said, do you have conservatory in your town? Maybe you can do it for free. I can prepare plan for you. How will you start? How can you end this course from my own blogs? So from my own thoughts and my own experiences, you can stand in the front of students and start to tell who you are, how you started to build contacts from this post-communism country with the world outside. How did you fight with stage fright, and all those things. And in the end, you can say something interesting. And I was like, what the hell? This is a really good idea.
Yeah.
While I was driving, I had this voice chat with her. And I was amazed, and she was like, we can do more. On your webpage, davidkoller.com, we can prepare lesson for 50 euros, 2 hours about stage fright, then about how to work with Ableton Live as a guitarist. And she was like, she gave me hope.
Oh, yeah.
I was hopeless, like, I don't know what will I do, and I can apply for some grants or try something, and then it gives me hope,
That is very nice, but at the same time, she just go through everything that is about you on the internet,
and also what I wrote her, all my blogs.
So the thing, this is a positive thing about it.
Yeah.
You talk about artificial intelligence. I think what it can never replace is artistic intelligence.
Yeah.
That is, they can probably make songs that sounds like Beyoncé or Taylor Swift or Miles or whoever, but it will never
make new style.
No, it will not make new style either. Maybe they can program it to do new style. I don't know, but it will not have this human quality, which is that it's actually a human with a history, a human with the all that history comes out through the playing.
Yeah, and live experience.
Yeah, so kind of artistic intelligence, I think, is something that can never kind of replace with artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, it's listen to you and I've been. I am also a friend of mine. He Petter Molvær. He tried to use this artificial intelligence mastering program, but he said it was interesting, but there is something missing.
Yeah.
It's the human touch, you know.
Yeah, human ear in the front of the speakers with live experiences. The same was when I was with Pat Mastelotto in Texas, and we had some songs, some pieces done. Mixing was done, and he said, "David, we need to find extra money for mastering." And I was like, "You know what? I have Logic Pro, new one, and there is the mastering button."
Oh yeah.
Did you try it? You click it, and it goes through your audio. And it gives you EQ. You have 4 possibilities like clean, transparent, punch, etc., etc. And I said like, hey man, I think I'm not sound engineer, but I was like, it's much more powerful, it's better. And he was listening and he said, I miss something on lows. The bass drum isn't like it was before. I don't like it. So he's much more experienced than I, you know, and he has sound engineers. He had a lot of sound engineers in his studio, and he knows all this, the process, you know. So then I was happy he found out the guy who mastered the album, and it was much better than the Logic Pro mastering.
There is. I have this Vice EQ. I mean, this is what a lot of people use when they're mastering, but they use the hardware. It costs like 10,000-15,000 euro or something. But I have the software which I use, and say when I make music for movies and I make music for ballet, like the National Ballet in Norway, then I use this, and then there is kind of 40 different mastering strings, soft strings, kick, everything. You just put it on the track that you have the kick drum. Then it's a kick drum mastering, and then you can add a little bit, and so it's. But I never tried this Logic master. I use Logic. I use Logic and Ableton, just like you.
Yeah, if you update it, there is a mastering. You hit it, and it will go through the piece.
Yeah.
And you really, I mean, when I release these mafia films on for streams, I use just that. I didn't have money budget for the guy who can master it, or my solo albums in last year and a half when Helvetia label is gone. So I had to do it by my own, you know. I used only my ears. I didn't have money because from all those streamings,
you don't make anything.
Yeah, so you know it's difficult. But
that is something we can talk about. It's streaming, and I mean, I don't know. I heard someone that was streamed like 40 million times, and they got like over a period of a year. I mean, 40 million. That is half of Germany's population. And I think they got something like what was it? It was like ridiculously low.
Couple of thousands, maybe.
Well, yeah, a little bit more.
Or
but it's it's something. I mean, if you dive into it, I never did. I don't want to do it. If you dive into it to see how it actually works, this I think I get something like 0.00003 cent per stream. So let's say you have 5 million streams, then you're supposed to have I don't know. I am not that good in mathematics.
But only if you are only the guy who has the rights, because if you have producer and free songwriters, then you have to split this.
And all the big labels, they have ownership in Spotify.
Yeah.
And then if you want to sign to a label now, it's like, yes, how many streams you have? That is the only thing.
Yeah.
Basically.
And also if someone had 40 million streams, this is someone who is really famous. So they spent a lot of money to make this guy be popular.
Yeah.
So articles, he is in radios, interviews. You have to pay for everything. So yeah, it's for me. You are on the album of Steven Wilson on the Harmony Codex. I am there too. And for me, it was like, if people in Japan will listen to his music and they can find out also my music, so I am on Spotify or Apple Music or maybe even on YouTube and Tidal, because, I was thinking in that moment that if Beethoven, I'm not comparing myself to Beethoven, but I just, if you can tell him, hey man,
you're both human beings.
Yeah, but I mean, he played his symphony, I don't know how many times in his life, in Vienna, in Budapest, in Prague, maybe somewhere in Germany, and then he had another one. I think I read something, then there was a guy who was fanatic to his music, and he saw his concerts 3 times in his life. Can you imagine that? You don't have vinyl at home. And what I'm trying to say is that if you can tell to Beethoven, your music can be streamed for 50 million people, I think he will be happy that they will hear his music. You know what I mean?
Like that, yeah.
But he didn't have to pay for social security, for, he had a paper and pen and piano, and maybe he has got the beer and bread and the wine. But now here, it is so difficult. I mean, I feel it on myself. I wasn't a star, and I think I will never be. I'm happy, but when I am with you or with Padma Stolo and Eric Truffaz, you had these eras when you had the pig and you traveled around the world. You had these big labels, and I feel that for my generation in this kind of music is impossible.
This is the thing. It's not about that I don't want people to listen to my music.
Of course.
But it's about, say for instance, that this guy who created it came from I don't even remember what was the first illegal download thing.
Something on M, starts on M.
Yeah. I remember when that came, and then Spotify came, and this guy, Swedish guy, he's not a musician, I think. He doesn't have a label. He's just a tech guy. And last year he made more money on Spotify than the most streamed artist like Taylor Swift or someone made on Spotify. And then let's say I have a song that is streamed maybe 5 million times. I don't have the slightest idea how much money has come in from this over the years, but it's, I mean, compared to when you think 5 million, that's like the Norwegian population. It's like everyone in Norway has heard that song. So there is something.
It's not fair.
No, it's not fair, and it's also, even though and now more and more the labels they don't want to have artists that can be fantastic artists, but they don't have enough streams, so they won't sign them.
Yeah.
They sign people on streams, how many streams you have. And then the whole idea about diversity and this is what I said earlier, this let all the flowers bloom in the garden of music.
Yes.
That disappeared. And the only thing that get pushed is the pop thing that is streamed like 1 billion times or something. You know, so it kind of... But even though you can go in on Spotify and just search for anything and it comes out, you know, like...
You know what? I had an idea, but people don't like me. I just felt that maybe European Union can put real extra taxes for Spotify for this guy. So, for example,
that goes to us, back to the musicians.
Yes, they can make some kind of foundation or grant or something like that.
Yeah.
And if he will give his Norwegian musicians out, and he will say, okay, I took out from Norwegian people, listeners, this money, from musicians, that money, he has to pay, I don't know how many percent taxes back to Norway, and Norway will create a fund.
That's actually a good idea.
And from this fund will go to musicians because they cannot sell CDs anymore.
No.
But there will be a right wing, and they will say, you are a dictator. It's a free market. You know what I mean? Because he will pay them.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
This is. But I had an idea. Just make a foundation for me, because even Miles Davis couldn't make music if there wasn't the guy who paid for everything. Of course, he didn't pay him well, but in the beginning. But he had the chance to be in the studio and make music, and there was.
He had rich parents, Miles.
Yes,
his father was a dentist.
Yeah, mother was teacher or something like that. But what I'm trying to say that then it's like you live in Matrix, you know, and like what can I do? And there is a guy who has just one demo. He has a lot of streams. He's a good YouTuber or guy influencer on Instagram. And then the real artist. We need people in the culture in our countries who will take care of it. And someone, I think. We cannot stop the streaming platforms, but there can be extra taxes because these guys are really rich. In the old times, you had a label, they had photographers, they have journalists, you know, so they made the promo for you, they made a tour, and you was in distribution around the globe. Of course, it was not for everyone, but now all these jobs disappeared, and there is only one guy, maybe with 100 IT tech engineers, and that's all. They don't invest to your album to make it. You have got money maybe from Norwegian Music Council. They pay you, and this guy will take all the money. You know, so that's why I think that there must be maybe extra taxes, but people maybe will say, "Oh, David, no, I'm not."
I think it's a very good idea.
It's just I'm just thinking.
Like in America, they talk about tax and all these kind of things. I mean, in the old days, some of the richest people, they paid like 80% tax. Like Rockefeller and these kind of things. That is why it made, but now they don't pay any, it's like the fish, the people in Norway that do this salmon farms, make billions. And then I say, okay, you are destroying coastal areas for people, and this is not it's not yours. You have to pay to use it. And they, that's destroying everything, blah blah blah, and put medicine, they put all kind of shit there, and lots and lots of codes, and they run away. Destroy the whole wild community of wild salmons in Norway is almost totally gone because of these people, and they make shitload of money, and they don't even want to pay to use the fjords, and I mean, I haven't dived deep into it, but there is some kind of
I know what you mean.
There is some kind of...
How much is enough? Bill
Yeah,
Gates said
yeah.
that.
It's like, how much is enough? That is good. And that, to say that, that is not... and I think that is fair. That is about equality. To have, it's more equal between people. And some people... it's like Elon Musk. I think he is 100% richer than the next person on Earth. You know? And I don't know. It's and now they are taking down this US aid, for instance, that is going to kill hundreds of thousands of people. They take away the food, the medicine, fire a lot of people. Yeah.
This is.
We talk about politics. Let's talk about music.
But these are these days. You know,
I think it's.
We are watching it. You know, it's better to read the books and watch good films. But we are now. As an artist, we need to see what is going on, and we are sensitive persons. So, Nils, I have the last question.
Yes.
What is your advice for young musicians? How can they survive? I mean, doesn't mean if they can pay their bills. As a young musician, if you are, I don't know, 15 years old now, you love music, you are practicing the trumpet or the guitar right now, and you won't be like, Nils Petter Molvær is your hero. What is your advice?
I wish I could tell. I think John Christensen said something once. Said that you copy when you're young. You copy things that you like. Mm-hmm. You copy, try to play like someone
Jimi
you
Hendrix or
like Jimmy or Terje Rypdal or Alan Holdsworth or whoever. David Gilmour, more my favorite guy. But then at one point you need to find yourself in there, you know. Mm-hmm. And so what do you want to do? You don't want to sound like Jimi Hendrix the rest of your life, or Terje Rypdal or whoever.
How can you do that? You know how?
No, you just. I remember at one point when I was like 15, 16. I was very much into. I liked the Woody Shaw and Freddie Hubbard and these guys. So I was kind of listening to solos of them and then.
Analyzing
all these kind of things. Mm-hmm. To kind of just dive deeper into your instrument and what you can do with it, you know. And but then after a while you play less and less. You don't play all the time. You have to breathe and everything. So and also try to find a sort of an expression that is personal and that is who you are. So this is like a process that takes time.
Yes.
Because it takes time to learn to know yourself also as a human being.
Yeah.
And so it's just about keep it up and you have to practice. That's a good thing. And play with people, interact with other musicians, find people you like to play with. Stay away from managers.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult to get rid of them. It's like try to get rid of herpes. So it's no. I mean, there are nice managers. I'm joking. So, but yeah, and I wish I had like this kind of recipe that like do that, do this, but I don't.
Yeah, of course. But it's nicely said. You have to analyze yourself. Like I copy it, now I have to try to find myself. And this is very important, to play with others.
Yeah.
Don't be YouTuber, go and play with others. Even if the drummer is not the best in the town, you can try to be there and perform live maybe, because bunch of these YouTubers, guys who are playing Gallenhofsford at home, they don't have even a repertoire to be on the stage for 30 minutes with the band.
No, I know.
And this is another part of the musician's life, you know? So to be there and etc. etc.
I don't know these YouTubers though, but no, it's about, and also I'm thinking, if you like someone, then there is something inside you that like the expression of this person, this musician, and that is part of you. So it's a good place to start to try to understand why he do this. And I think one thing that is very important is timing. Mm-hmm. To have nice timing, where you stop a phrase, where you start a phrase, when you start a phrase, where you, I mean, all these kind of things. To depends if you want the things to be like ambient or there. It's more like for me like a bird. Mm-hmm. Flowing over a landscape. Mm-hmm. But of course, if there is something very rhythmically, it's like, where do I stop a phrase? Yeah. And where do I start it again? And there is a lot of things. But this is, if you are a sensitive and talented musician, this will come to you. So that's my advice. Okay, Nils, thank you very much for your time. And soon we have to be in the cinema.
In the cinema and have a sound check. Okay, yes. Thank you very much,
Pleasure.
Nils. And people, you can follow him on his Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And
for now.
And
also, maybe I'm gonna work a bit more with my website. I'm a little bit sick and tired of Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't. It's not me who I'm there from sometimes, but yeah, no, it's. I mean, what to do?
People can find you, follow your music, and on your website they can find where you will play, and maybe you will play around them. And okay, thank you for listening, and have a nice day. Yes. Ciao.
Have a nice day, everybody. Ciao.